A pilot water conservation project was undertaken with citizens of the town of Deseronto and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. The project emphasized individual actions.
The idea behind this project is to reduce the amount of water going into our sewage treatment plant. The idea being that the less water going in, the more effective the water that is there can be treated. Therefore, the effluent coming from the sewage treatment plant is of a higher quality for our bay. The way in which we do this is by providing water conservation kits to the residents of the town of Deseronto and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. And we do installation appointments at their convenience. My installers go and install the toilet dam, the shower head, and the tap restrictors in their home. The second part of the program consists of ordering composters, the idea being less table scraps going down the drain will again improve water quality at the sewage treatment plant.
Industry is also involved in our cleanup effort. Tough new federal and provincial pollution regulations aimed at virtually eliminating contaminants in industrial discharges are being introduced. Domtar Packaging in Trenton is one Quinte industry currently investigating ways to comply.
The normal way, the conventional way, would be external or secondary treatment. We've looked at this in quite some detail, and although it would go for this mill and would work all right, there are some disadvantages. We feel a far more desirable option is to evaporate the excess processed liquor rather than discharging it to the river, and in effect put that which went in the river into the form of a concentrated liquor, which would then be used as a road binder, which we can then use in the surrounding municipalities.
To protect our fisheries resources, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources began a fish habitat survey of the Bay of Quinte in 1991. Technicians map and videotape the shoreline to create a permanent record of fish habitat in the bay. Seine netting also is used at various locations to determine what species of fish are using the habitat.
The Ministry of Natural Resources has initiated this study to document that fish habitat, and once it's fully documented and mapped and so on, we can then begin to plan for restoration works. In other words, we can begin to identify areas in the Bay of Quinte where we can enhance fish habitat, actually improve habitat for various species of fish.
To protect the gains of the cleanup effort, we must prevent new inputs of contamination. In 1992, a program of stormwater quality management was introduced that will control nutrient and bacteria contamination in runoff from new urban development. This program will affect planning and development strategies for municipalities bordering the bay.
Stormwater management planning in the City of Belleville involves two aspects. One, which is the traditional stormwater management concern, has been the quantity of storm runoff, i.e. we don't want to see flooding of developed property in the city. Secondly, today we now want to see the quality of stormwater to be improved prior to it entering the Bay of Quinte. So we have to control the quality of runoff from land development within the city to minimize pollution of our area waterways. This means a change in the city's planning approval system with respect to subdivisions, amendments to our official plan, and special planning studies that we might undertake in the form of secondary plans for vacant, undeveloped parts of the city. We want to ensure that as part of any approval of plans for these areas, the stormwater management includes that water quality element.
There are many efforts not directly associated with the RAP that still strive toward similar goals. One of our most recognizable and successful of these efforts is the Blue Box Home Recycling Program.
Centre and South Hastings launched a program in 1991 called Blue Box 2000, and its purpose was to determine how to take a traditional curbside program and maximize its potential. Householders may not realize in the Centre and South Hastings area that the Blue Box 2000 program has an international reputation, and that's because of the number of materials that we put in our blue boxes here. Most programs in Ontario only recycle glass, cans, newspapers, and some plastics. But in the Blue Box 2000 program, we go far beyond that. We're recycling all types of paper, we're recycling textiles, we're recycling all types of plastics, egg cartons, milk cartons. It's an ambitious program and it's working. But Blue Box 2000 is much more than just the blue box. There are other components like an aggressive composting program. We have a household hazardous waste program. We do a lot of waste reduction initiatives, and we're doing work with the business sector in order to help them reduce, reuse, and recycle.
The Bay of Quinte RAP has focused our attention. We are more aware of the environmental problems that threaten the bay and of the sources of pollution. We are now aware of the potential dangers if we fail to act. We now know that action must be taken, but there is a long road ahead. Research must continue to further increase our understanding of the complex problems affecting the bay.
The research efforts in the Bay of Quinte have allowed us to proceed along two lines. One line is to address the things that we know, to develop strategies and cleanup efforts that will address these concerns. On the other regard, we're looking at things we do not know or understand, and that will allow us to understand more how the bay reacts to what we're doing, and more importantly, when to stand back and let the bay act on its own.